russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros.
A former AEW and current TNA wrestler, Ryan Nemeth, has filed a lawsuit against AEW, Tony Khan, and CM Punk. The lawsuit alleges assault, breach of contract, breach of the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, and intentional interference with prospective advantage. According to the lawsuit, Nemeth claims Punk menacingly approached him after a tweet where Nemeth called Punk soft and shouted, "Do we have a problem? Do we need to step outside and handle this like men?" It is stated that Nemeth was cornered by Punk and did everything possible to de-escalate the situation. Although he contacted executives about the incident the following day, Nemeth asserts that no punishment was imposed on Punk for his actions. After the confrontation, Nemeth alleges that he was benched by AEW, which he was informed of by their legal team, stating that Punk insisted on his benching despite not being the perpetrator. Following his benching, Nemeth claims that there were several unsuccessful attempts for his return to the ring, and still he was turned away on an August 2023 appearance when he was told he immediately needed to leave the arena and travel would be arranged for him to fly out the same day, and his last match occurred in AEW in November. So also interesting about this is Nemeth is with TNA, now part of WWE, where CM Punk is.
Hey, I want to just throw something out there at you. Like, seriously, like, okay, bro, we all know this is wrestling, and we all know, like, my God, Al, this probably happened to you a freaking million times in your career. It happens every other day. However, if this is put before a judge and somebody on the job is saying to you, "Do we have a problem? Would you like to step outside?" That's an issue in the real world at the workplace, isn't it, Al?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, this is like trying to unravel a Gordian knot, trying to, there are a lot of implications with this situation. If it is it likely that it'll go forward? Probably not. It's going to be very difficult to prove a lot of these claims. It's all going to be very subjective. If it does move forward, yeah, you're right. In a real regular, in typical situation, it's an unprofessional behavior, and I don't know if it's necessarily considered assault. I don't know what the legal terms are, because let's remember, the law is not about justice. The law is not about right or wrong. The law is about who can provide the best argument based on, the construct that has put the argument in. Man, I don't even know where to start. I really don't. You can see from one side of the fence, I guess, Ryan's position and thinking that taking this action would improve things, but on the other side of the fence, it's a slippery slope. I mean, yes, you have to have. I'm going to get screwed no matter how I say this. I know it. I just know it. It just, there's no winning in this thing. There just isn't. From a business standpoint and from just common sense and logic, you need to have a certain standard of behavior. I think that if Ryan Nemeth brought it to management's attention, then, again, this comes down to leadership. To prevent any of this from happening, Tony Khan should have probably sat both of them down and addressed the issue in an office between the two of them and been done with it, where we settled the matter and moved forward. The accusations of the fact that, whatever, this somehow affected Ryan's opportunities in the ring, man, who knows? That's one of those things where
it's very hard to prove. Very hard to prove.
It's very hard to prove. And it's always, as well as I do, Vince, it's always the go-to for every wrestler, including back when I was in it, of, they're doing this because they're just burying me, or they're doing this because they just don't like me, or they're doing this because of XYZ. It's always the fallback for every wrestler and I'm not saying that in a lot of cases that weren't the case. It wasn't the situation, but it's not always that. A lot of times it's the wrestler themselves, when they've been given the opportunity, not presenting themselves in the fashion or the form that they need to give the writer, booker, promoter the tools to carry them further forward in the direction they were hoping to do. We just had a conversation last night at the school in history class about a situation with a wrestler that I have in OVW that's being given an opportunity tonight. And they're like, well, if he doesn't do it, he's not going to end his run. And I go, no, it's not going to end his run, but it's going to alter what I do with him. And then I'm going to have to, instead of going this way, I'm going to have to take a right or a left and try to take the long way to get him back to where I think he should be, but that's on him. Once he steps through those curtains, and that's one of the things that, a situation like this now puts the onus 100%, because in the real world, let's face it, that even in the real world, it's more objective. Hey, you go in there, you do your work, you do it, and then politics do play a part in it, in you getting advancement and getting additional opportunities in a regular job. But this is not a regular job. This isn't a job. This is 100%. You're self-employed. Whether you're under a guaranteed contract or not, you're still in business for yourself, and you take those opportunities to, whether you win or lose or draw, go out there and ensure that when those people walk out of the building or turn that TV set off, the one person they're talking about is you. Mm-hmm. And that's totally 100% in your control, contrary to what talent would like you to believe. And, the slippery slope is, and we've seen evidence of it numerous times, is when the inmates start running the asylum. WCW is a great example of that, it led to its demise. So if this lawsuit goes further, which I doubt, I can't see it, it's going to be a very tough road to go. But if it does, and there's a precedent created out of it, man, that's gonna make things.
God, how ironic is that, Jeff? Like you brought up one angle of it where he's now working for NXT, which is associated with TNA. But here's the other aspect of it. Can you imagine if Tony Khan and CM Punk had to be on the same side in a court of law?
Yeah.
What about that, Al? I mean, It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Makes strange bedfellows.
Yeah, really.
But think about this too. Again, the wrestling business is the wrestling business. It's a unique animal. It's not like, people from outside of it are now trying to utilize or compare it and treat it like it's like an everyday business. And it's not. Mm-hmm. I don't care, it's changed. No, to that degree, it's not. So now, let's say Ryan's suit goes forward and it accomplishes something, right? At some point in time, even if it's just through attrition, Ryan's contract with TNA, WWE, whatever you want to call it now, it's going to come to an end. Be honest. How willing are you now to go to do business with him?
Yeah.
That, hey, if he takes it and he gets a hair up his ass and decides, hey, I don't think I'm being treated fairly. I think it's bullshit. What's to prevent that he might decide to sue you?
Yeah.
And decide to sue your company. I'm not saying that what he's saying is baseless or, without merit to some degree, but it's going to, whether you win or lose, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's, again, it's a Gordian knot. That's not just a cut and dry black and white answer. And it's not a cut and dry black and white situation. And it's going to have ramifications in ways both positive and negative that you're not going to expect.
Yeah. Yep.
And for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Good. And that sounds like I'm not trying to cop out on an answer.
I don't think you are at all, Al. I don't think you are at all.
Yeah.
But again, when you throw that scenario out that, when his contract's up, he may have trouble. But on the other side of that coin, if he can settle with Tony Khan for $1 million, I don't think he's going to worry about another contract for a while.